Revelation 11:5 states regarding the two witnesses, "And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed." Next we are going to look at the powers these two ministers have. Fire comes forth out of their mouths to kill their enemies. They can shut up the sky so it doesn't rain, turn the waters to blood, and smite the earth with plagues. As we look at these powers according to my interpretation, with the two witnesses representing a ministry preparing the church for the second coming of Christ, we will see that this all fits together perfectly. Some of the powers I just named here remind me of Old Testament characters. Elijah, for when he called fire down from heaven, and also when he told Ahab it would not rain for 3.5 years. I also thought of Moses, who turned the waters to blood and smote the earth with plagues. What we see literally in the Old Testament will have a spiritual counterpart in the New Testament. I would like to share now what I believe the spiritual counterpart would be in this John the Baptist ministry that is preparing the way for Christ. I do not believe that the people involved in this ministry are literally going to kill anybody, or that they're going to have literal fire coming out of their mouth. So there has to be a spiritual meaning here. The beginning of this verse states, "And if any man will hurt them." The word man is not in the Greek, so a better translation would be, "And if any will hurt them." However, we can assume that man would be understood in this passage. According to the early church fathers, men allegorically represent understandings. Therefore, I believe what is opposing them here are certain understandings held by church people that are false, and would be used to come against what the ministers are preaching. It is this sort of thing that has kept the church divided and weak. People just can't agree on basic doctrine. However, this will change under the anointed preaching of the John the Baptist Company. There will be separation, and a pure church will remain, although it may be considerably smaller than before. Then the Lord can bring in new converts who will not be misled by false understandings or upset by conflicts within the church. Our understanding of the fire that comes out of their mouths is found in Jeremiah. "Wherefore thus saith the Lord God of hosts, because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them." That's Jeremiah 5:14. The preaching coming forth from the witnesses will be so powerful that no false understanding or doctrine will be able to stand against it. These false beliefs won't stand a chance when confronted with the words and wisdom coming forth from the mouths of the witnesses. When this ministry goes into all the true churches, God's people will come into the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. In this way, if any understanding, that would be man, tries to harm the ministry, that's hurt them, this false understanding will be killed by the fiery preaching coming from the witnesses. That is, he must in this manner be killed. I'm going to state this verse again, and then give a very concise interpretation of what I believe it means. "And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed." And if any false doctrine, that's man, tries to harm the ministry coming forth from the anointed ministers in the John the Baptist Company, that would be them, the fiery anointed words, that's fire, coming out of their mouths, that's proceedeth, will destroy, that's devour, these false doctrines, which are their enemies. Any false belief, that's man, that tries to harm the ministry, that is, hurt them, will be killed in this manner. I'll state that once more. And if any false doctrine tries to harm the ministry coming forth from the anointed ministers in the John the Baptist Company, the fiery anointed words coming out of their mouths will destroy these false doctrines, and any false belief that tries to harm the ministry will be killed in this manner.